Jesus is restraint. The definition of restraint is fixed, durable, constant. Jesus had incredible restraint when he was here on earth. He was fully God and fully man. And there are times in our lives, and when Jesus was walking the earth, that his disciples, and if I'm honest, me, wonders, why doesn't God intervene? There's natural disasters, there's 3-year-olds with cancer, there's healings that people wanted, and it came in a different way. God gives us human free will, and that is a very powerful thing. And it's in his restraint that he has so much more power, and power that he also gives us. So let me tell you a story. We all know about the temptation, where Jesus was tempted 40 days without eating, and he was hungry. And in that story, we see that Satan gives him 3 tests. You can turn the rocks into bread, you can jump off this cliff, you can worship me. How do we even know that the temptation happened? Well, we know because it could have only come from Jesus himself telling us about this boxing ring experience of Jesus and Satan going back and forth with each other. The amount of restraint for the God of the universe to even give him that and not even succumb to wanting to reveal himself. He remained masked in so many ways. People were trying to figure out what kind of Messiah was coming. And you can tell by the 3 things that Satan asks of Jesus, he was looking for what type of Messiah he was. Was he going to be the people's Messiah with bread? Was he going to be the lofty Torah reading Messiah that knew scripture to come back at? Was he going to be the king Messiah that put the crown on his head, which is what Satan offered in the last request, to worship him? But instead, he was a suffering Messiah. He suffered. He restrained himself to even be on this earth, to die. But let's back up. To be tempted. Oh, let's look at this. I don't think the things that Satan asked Jesus were even evil. Satan was just trying to figure out. And let's look at what he asked. Was it so audacious for Jesus to perform the miracles that he was asking? Satan asked Jesus to turn some stones into bread. I am sorry, but that is not at all impressive compared to Jesus feeding the 5,000 men with fish and bread. He did something even more impressive. And then Satan says, well, jump off this cliff. You won't die. You'll be caught. But Jesus did something even more remarkable, and he knew it was coming. He was going to die and be resurrected. So in a sense, jumping off a cliff doesn't really seem that big of a deal. That's who Jesus is. He's so restrained. He's so fixed. He's so constant that he knew that beyond what poking and prodding that the enemy was doing at that time, Jesus remained resistant to him. And Jesus gives us free will. It's remarkable, the free will that we have. There's times we may feel like God's just sitting on his hands, or we look at natural disaster, we look at maybe a 3-year-old with cancer and a healing that's not taking place, and you feel like God isn't there. And yet he is. He has to be so restrained to not want to come back for all of us right now, because he's praying, he's interceding for us every day. It is on his mind. And what feels like it's been going on for a while to us, he's been in heaven for over 2,000 years. Can't wait to bring heaven on earth. And that fixation, that focus, that drive in Jesus, the vivid picture of his magnitude of power. See, him tempting Jesus, I don't think Satan even knew how to take Jesus. I don't think I know how to take Jesus sometimes. It's not just Satan who didn't know who Jesus was. No one could figure him out. Is he the Messiah? I think we're still asking that today for those that are wanting to believe in Jesus. And those of us that do believe in Jesus, his greatest restraint was just allowing Satan to mock him. He was tempted in every way, and yet he showed immeasurable restraint for our free will. And for that, I love who Jesus is.